so in this video I'm going to be showing a lot of tips that came up during a most recent event, things you should do and things you shouldn't do. Things that happened during this event. I did an all lefty team build because I wanted to practice my left-handed hitting. Not so much against righties because I'm pretty good hitting righties with left-handed hitters, but lefty-lefty is probably my worst matchup. And this event had Billy Wagner and Aaron Loup that everybody was throwing, so I wanted to practice against those two tough pitchers and see if I could learn anything, and I'll share what I think I learned about hitting against Aaron Loup in particular. These are the cards I used. Juan Soto, obviously great player. Ken Griffey, great attributes. Kyle Tucker, a lot of people like him. Freddie Freeman, some people are really high on him. Brandon Crawford, Trumanation. I've seen him use Brandon Crawford on his ranked team on Legend, and he's a really good player. And also Seabrev likes Brandon Crawford. We'll talk about that at the end. But Max Muncy, I couldn't find a second baseman that was a lefty except for Muncy, but I do like his swing, so I wanted to try him. Gehrig, obviously, great attributes. There is no left-handed catcher in the game, so I will pinch hit Jesse Winker or Brandon Nimmo or Babe Ruth when that spot in the lineup comes up. Then I will replace him with Ivan Rodriguez. So this is the lineup I'm going to roll with, and I will show you the highlights and talk through it. And at the end, I will show you all my stats with all these cards and give you my honest review of these cards and give you my best tip at the end, and you're not going to want to miss that. Trust me, I will not lead you astray. So here is the gameplay. This is actually the second game. The first game didn't record correctly, but the first guy quit. So this will be the second game of the event. 32 and 89, decent record. Corbin Burns, everybody. I don't know what happened here. I just missed it. Then I get a lucky hit with Freeman, gets sawed off. And then Ken Griffey gets one. I'm sorry about my name here. That's only for this first game. I erased that after the second game. But anyway, here comes Loup. This is what I wanted because I wanted to practice with Loup. Because a lot of players are using him and he's a tough pitcher, so I wanted to see if I could figure it out. So let's see. And just dotting, yeah, he just watch for the sinkers, low and away, high and away, and obviously inside. A lot of people like to throw that with Loup. Against lefty, so be aware of that. Then yeah, I just chased it because you have to try to be not late on the sinker, and I obviously was late and I swung a bad ball. So I got Nolan Ryan going, one of the best pitchers. Had a lot of success with him, so gets him out. Then he goes to Loup. And then I get one, the slurve, low and away. It's a common pitch throw to lefties, lefty. So watch for that one, the low and away slurve. And this is tip number one, how to hit Aaron Loup, is his sinker is the only fast pitch he has. So if you see it's a fast pitch, you know it's a sinker. So watch for that speed if you can. You can see it kind of like, there's a little bump to the sinker when it comes out of the hand, but then it kind of goes fast. So watch for that, and if you see that, you know it's a sinker because none of his other pitches are fast. His this slurve right here you see is 79. That's pretty slow. Most people's slurve or slider is like high 80s or mid 80s or low 90s sometimes. But Aaron Loup's slurve is only mid 70s, which is very slow. So if you see it's a slow pitch out of the hand, it's probably the slurve and you have time to react. So this is kind of an easy pitch to hit if they throw it for a strike. So be aware of that. His changeup is like 80. So that's also slow, but it kind of hangs. So a lot of people don't really throw the changeup. And then his cutter is like 85. So that's significantly slower than his sinker, but it's the only straight pitch he has. So if you see out of the hand it's straight, it's probably a cutter, and you can watch for it to drift as it's coming toward you. So those are some of the things I picked up on how to read Aaron Loup's pitches, and I've gotten a lot better at hitting him. So that was the first tip I'll give you. I'm still trying to figure it out. I'm not just saying I've learned how to read him perfectly, but that's just what I picked up on so far. And then Brandon Crawford, he tries to go for that up and away sinker, common pitch against lefties, and I get it. And then I think, yeah, he's going to quit out here. That's the second game. Third game coming up. 78 and 51. Hits my first guy. Walks Freeman. And Griffey gets one. Yeah, Cliff Lee is just kind of outdated at this point. Cliff Lee, tip number 2 is probably don't throw Cliff Lee. Nobody's probably throwing him. People very rarely throw him. But since they did the PCI update where you can move the PCI further to the edge of, like a little bit outside the box, it's made pitchers like Cliff Lee very hittable, because his like selling point was he can really hit the corners. But that doesn't work as well if you can move the PCI a little bit further. So Cliff Lee or pitchers like that are throw slow, I would say just try to avoid them. So that's tip number 2. There's game 3, no, game 4, because the first game was deleted. So this is game 4. Bob Feller is actually a decent pitcher. I've done pretty well with him. I don't know why nobody's really using him. But that was a great take by him. Then he hits a fastball for a hit. I try to come in on him here. Good spot. He just turned on it. I mean, Freeman's a pretty good player. I'll talk about him later, but yeah, that was a good hit. And then get him out. So 3-0. Good hit with Soto. And then walk Freeman. Corbin Burns again. Griffey gets one. He's going to bring in Loup, I think. Yep. Tries to go for that up and away sinker. It's common pitch. I was ready. Seen it a few times. Gets it, grand slam. And then he starts throwing the he started throwing the inside cutters and inside changeups, and that was really throwing me off, because that's not very common. So that's tip number 3. If you're facing a player that seems to be on Loup's sinker, don't be afraid to throw the changeup and cutter inside. And that might mess up their timing, because the cutter is 10 miles per hour slower, and it's breaking away from you as a lefty. So don't be afraid to throw that if it's a good hitter. If your sinker's working and they can't catch up to it like a lot of hitters, then just keep spamming the sinker. But so that's tip number 3. But he got me looking there. Yeah, see, that slurve inside is so much slower. That slurve is so much slower. And then you see it starting on the inside part, you're like, oh, this is a sinker, but then it's like 20 miles per hour slower. So I'm pitching again. I gotta work on reading those a little better. But he quit there. I don't know why. So this is a 6th game, or 5th game. Get a good hit there. Right to him.
Griffey Jr.
Didn't get it.
Gehrig. Ladies and gentlemen,
Bring in Wagner.
Now pitching.
To learn how to hit him too.
Wagner.
And then it just freezes up on us. I don't know what happened, but he had his connection got lost. That was the 5th game. So here's the 6th game. Nolan Ryan again. I should do a video on how to pitch with Nolan Ryan, because I think I got it down pretty good. But so now I'm hitting against Burns again. Just missing it. These are good pitches. See, these are good pitches. He's pitching pitches that are almost strikes. And that's pitches that are hard to tell when they're coming. Is this going to be a strike or is it going to be a ball? It's hard to tell, so you usually swing. But if it's a ball, then you're going to be less likely to hit it for a hit. So tip number 4, if you can, pitch almost strikes. And sometimes they'll hit it, but it's less chances that they'll get a hit, and more likely that you'll induce weak contact. So throw pitches that are almost strikes if you can. See, this is another one. Almost a strike, just right off, and my PCI wasn't really on it anyway, but anyway, those are tough pitches to get to hit for a hit, and you should try to take those if you can. But sometimes it's hard, especially if you're behind in the count. I was 0-2, so you kind of have to protect. So that's just a great pitch, 0-2, and he was just hitting those spots on me. Okay, this is another one, tip number 5 here. So first, Nolan Ryan gets the righty out, then I bring in Lefty Grove to face Soto, the lefty. Tip 5, just go ahead and, if it's Battle Royale an event, go ahead and play matchups. Because you have 12 pitchers in the bullpen, why not? That's my opinion. But I bring in Lefty Grove, and unfortunately, he gets a home run. I left it up in the zone, and this is tip number 6, is when you bring in a new pitcher, they might have a different timing window for the pinpoint. So I was pitching with Nolan Ryan, he has a specific timing window that's kind of normal. But Lefty Grove's timing window is a little bit longer. But I was used to Nolan Ryan's timing window, and I used his timing window, and instead of it being a low slider, it was a slider right in the middle of the plate because the timing window is a little bit slower. And I didn't account for that or remember that, and I just made that mistake. So when you bring in a new pitcher, be aware the timing window might be different. So that's tip number 6. Get him out though, and then you got that one. And here's Kyle Tucker. Wasn't really another good pitch right here, and I didn't really get it, but I got it enough. And it squeaks over. This is another tip. Tip number 7. If you're playing with a team with all lefties, Shibe Park is a good park to play at because right field's a little bit more shallow than left. And you're going to get some home runs like this one. And if you're playing with a team with a lot of righties, then choose a field with a shallow left field. I don't really like Wrigley because I have PS4, and the Major League parks can be a little bit slower for PS4 players than PS5 players, so I don't really like to play on Major League stadiums for that reason. If you have PS5, then maybe choose Major League stadiums because that might give you a little timing advantage on your opponent. That's just what somebody said. I'm not sure if it's true or not, to be honest with you, but that's tip number 8. If you're on PS4, probably don't play on Major League stadiums. If you're on PS5, maybe do play on Major League stadiums. But tip number 7 was play on Shibe if you have a lot of lefties in your lineup because you're going to get some cheap home runs like this one. And if you have all righties, what's a good field for all righty for a non-Major League stadium? I'm not sure if there's a stadium that is like advantage for rights. It's not a Major League stadium. So I'll have to think about that one. Sorry, I can't think of one off the top of my head. But that was kind of a cheap home run, but it was because I chose Shibe. That wouldn't have been a home run almost anywhere. It would have been an out, except for Polo Grounds and Shibe probably. And maybe Fenway, who knows. But here comes... I got a good one with Crawford. So I get this dub, and he quits. And this is all because I chose Shibe, because I got that cheap home run. And then I got another home run to take the lead. If I wouldn't have got that cheap home run, and I just got that one home run, he would have stayed in the game, 1-1 probably. And he might have ended up winning. So choosing Shibe gave me that dub. Okay, this is tip number 9 here. Is look at this man's record. I always like to look at their record to get an idea of the kind of player I'm playing. Now you would say this is not a great winning percentage. 443 and 384, but this is a ton of games. So he's probably a lot better than his winning percentage because he's very experienced. Though don't necessarily take into account winning percentage, take into account number of games played. So, and this was the case with this player. He was a good player, even though his record winning percentage wasn't great. So that's tip number 9. Take into account number of games played as well as winning percentage. So Lee Smith, and then he got a good one with Trout. That was a good dot, but he got it. Good hitter. And then I tried to dive, but it just bounces out of his glove. Seems to happen a lot. I hope they fix this for the next version of the game, because it bounces off the glove like 80% of the time. It just hits his glove and bounces out. Anyway, so I get him with loop. What a hit. That cutter wasn't even a strike and he still got it. So that was a great hit. So I'm like, this guy's a pretty good hitter. And then he's pitching MADDUX. Pitch tip number 10, I think we're on. Don't pitch MADDUX, because he doesn't throw hard enough and he's not deceptive enough. So I mean, he's another pitcher like Cliff Lee that relies on control, and the control doesn't matter as much now since they changed the PCI a few months ago. The PCI can reach farther, so control pitchers, that really hurt them, unfortunately.
Freddie Freeman.
So I get another one, unfortunately, because it's nice to have more variety, not just cutter, sinker pitchers and just fastball pitchers like Nolan Ryan and DeGrom. But unfortunately, that change made control pitchers a little bit worse. But anyway, so I'm hitting MADDUX pretty good. Get a double with Griffey. And he's going to take MADDUX out now because he's like, this guy is hitting MADDUX pretty well. So here comes Loop. Gets one. He's going to tie up the game on him. Yeah, I got to read that changeup a little better. He gets me with the slurve. You can see this is just like the last guy. The slurve right outside the zone. And I'm chasing because it's so close. So this is a good pitch. Anything like right outside the zone. Hard to lay off those, so I got to do better at reading it and laying off those pitches. So he gets me there. So I got him. First batter gets out. Then chipper. I didn't pitch that changeup low enough, but gets him out there with Gossage, and gets another one. So he got a run back on me. Good game. Gonna put in Wagner now, I think, and I'm bringing in Nimmo. This is my best at bat of the video, I think. I'm having trouble reading the fastball, but I'm hanging in there. Yeah, because it kind of like takes off on you. Good take. Stays alive. Good take. Another fastball, and I just nailed it. But it wasn't a home run. But double to start the inning. Good job there. Yeah, and that changeup, I was having trouble with that changeup, just reading it, because it's like, looks like the fastball out of the hand. That might be tip 11. If you have Wagner, pair that changeup with that fastball, because they look pretty similar. Those are possibly two pitches to pair together if you're pitching Wagner, so that's tip 11. I haven't pitched a lot with Wagner, so I'll have to verify that tip on my own. But anyway, they glitched out on me, and I could take third for some reason, so that was fortunate. And then I got the changeup with, but it didn't go over the fence, just almost. Again, that might have been an out at any other stadium, but it's so shallow here. That was a double, and that scored that helped me tie up the game. So that would have ended the inning.
Junior.
So it really matters the stadium you play in. It could mean the difference between winning and losing. Anyway, he gets a hit up the middle. And then I just left that curveball over the plate. I should have challenged him on a fastball, and I just failed there. And that was a late hit. He didn't really get that one that well, and that just dropped. This is another late hit that he didn't really get that well. And this is tip number 12, I believe we're on, is if your pitcher is getting hit, their confidence is down, probably take him out, because I found when your confidence is down with your pitcher, the other team's exit angle will be improved. So instead of a pop-up, it's going to be like a line drive. Instead of a grounder, it's going to be a line drive. So that can really hurt you, and it helps the other team to get some bloop hits, which he got. These last 2 hits were bloop hits, and Wagner's confidence was probably down. So if his confidence was up, maybe these would have been pop-ups, or just hang up enough so that my outfielder could get it. I don't know. That's just what I've noticed. It seems to be that way. When your confidence is down, the exit angles are improved for the other team. So be aware of that. And I'm probably going to have a quick hook like Sparky Anderson going forward when I play, because I was really noticing this. But he got another hit that finds its way through. Yeah, chipper. I get him to chase on one right below the zone. Good pitch. Induces the double play. So now I'm down 7-4. Just misses it. Got Wagner going. And I'm late, but it gets in there. I think Wagner was on red at this point, because... And then he brings in Rivera. He doesn't have a lefty probably, so he brings in Rivera. This is another tip. I got lucky. I beat it out, but there was no don't do this. This is what I did. I tried to take home here. There's no reason to take home here. This is tip 13. I'm down by 3 runs. This run doesn't mean anything because I need this run, the guy in first to score, and another player to score just to tie it up, because it's the bottom of the 3rd. So if he gets out, that's a big blow to me. But if he scores, it doesn't really mean anything. It doesn't tie up the game. I still need guys to get hits. And if a guy gets a hit coming up, then this guy's going to score anyway. This is a needless risk for me to take. It's all downside. There's no upside. This scoring one more run doesn't matter because it doesn't tie up the game. But if I get out here, that's huge for his team and it hurts my rally. So don't do what I just did. Try to take the extra bag when it doesn't mean anything, like in this situation here. Know the situation, but I got lucky that he didn't get me out. So that was fortunate. And then I think he's going to quit here. He's winning 7-5 with 1 out. And he must be like, well, I don't have any lefties left. And he was hitting MADDUX, and he just got a hit with Rivera, even though it wasn't a great hit. And he's like, I don't want him to win the game. I don't know. But he definitely could have won that game. He's winning. Yeah, he quits. So that was the event, but I saved the best tip for last, and I'll tell you in a second. But let me review these players. So I'll give you my honest evaluation. We got Juan Soto. I was 381. I think for me to do well with a player, I'm usually batting in the 400s. The 381's pretty good. I know it's 42 at bats. That's not like a ton. But I love his swing. He's got great attributes. He does have a lot of quirks. So I really like him, but he does have 60 speed, which is kind of slow. So I wouldn't necessarily use him in ranked season. Griffey Jr. I know a lot of people use him 339. I just couldn't really get it going with him. I only have 8 home runs and 127 at bats. That's not good. I don't know what it is. It seems like his swing's like a little slow or something, a little awkward this year. So I don't necessarily love this card. I think probably you can find, but if you like him, just go for it because it's all about what you like. But I probably won't use him unranked. But Freddie Freeman though, 459, he just gets rewarded on a ton, great attributes, and tons of quirks. And this is the tip I was talking about in the beginning. Always look at these quirks. These quirks mean a lot more than people think. And I'm going to make a video next, my very next video I'm going to be talking about these quirks and breaking them down, give you a little preview, because I wanted to know, Freddie Freeman's 125 contact against righties. I wanted to know if these quirks are active, does his contact go over 125 or do they cap it at 125? Like a parallel 1, 125, if you get parallel 2, you don't go to 126, they cap it. I was wondering, do they cap it for the quirks? And so I did a little test. I'm going to show you right now. Does the PCI go over 125 into 126 or higher? So this is a picture, a screenshot of Freddie Freeman. This is his PCI at 125 because he has 125 PCI against righties. And no quirks are active because it's 0-1. And he has first pitch hitter quirk. So so I wanted to see, well, was his PCI bigger when it was 0-0? And it does. It just got a little bit bigger. This is 0-1, 0-2. So it does get a little bit bigger. So this is more than 125. This is huge. You can have outlier contact with all these guys that have quirks. If they have a PCI that's 125 or close to 125, then a quirk is active, then they can have outlier contact, which is huge because contact this year, unlike last year in MLB The Show 21, or I'm sorry, MLB The Show 20, power was most important attribute. But this year, contact, in my opinion, and I think most people, is more important than power, especially on Hall of Fame and Legend. So because contact is more important on those levels because the PCI gets smaller. So if you have a guy that has outlier contact, I think that's a huge advantage and maybe why I batted 459 with him. How much more though does it go than 125? Is it 126? Because I saw somebody say, is it 126? I don't think so. And I did a lot of tests, like I just showed you one test. I did a lot of tests to try to figure out how much each of these quirks impacts the PCI size and the actual number. And I think I figured out all the value for all these quirks. And I'm going to do a whole separate video about that in my very next video, explaining how much each of these quirks moves your contact number beyond 125. How high does it actually go? So we're going to figure that out in the very next video. But it can go significantly higher than 125. I'll just say that. I'll explain it more in the next video I do, but let's just continue with the player reviews. So Freddie Freeman, I really like him. He can play third, and his fielding is still 83. That's okay, and yeah, really good. I strongly would consider playing him on my ranked team. Then we got Gehrig, who is almost maxed out already. 407. I love his swing. There was like 2 or 3 home runs I got with him. I remember that. I'm like, dang, I wasn't even hardly on that. So that's what you'd love to see with the guys you want to play with on your ranked seasons. Guys who will get rewarded even when you're not exactly on it. So definitely would strongly consider playing Gehrig on my ranked team. I don't really love Kyle Tucker's swing. I only hit 300, which is what I usually hit with players that I'm not very good with. Only 23 at bats, so he might do better if I tried more, but I really don't like his swing, and he only runs 69 speed, so that's not great in the outfield. I probably won't play him on my ranked seasons. There's just too many other guys you could play if you're good with other guys, so there's no point to play a guy you're struggling with. But Brandon Crawford, again, batting around 300, not great with him. I know only 17 at bats, so not a large sample size. Attributes are good. 124 contact versus right. Again, is he going to be outlier contact? Yes, he has a lot of quirks. Day, first pitch hitter, rally monkey. The breaking ball quirk only affects your power, so that will increase his power on breaking balls. But he will get over 125 contact in a lot of situations. So this is maybe a reason why I see Trumanation playing on Twitch with Brandon Crawford, and Seabrev was high on Brandon Crawford as well. I might give him a chance at, and Seabrev said play him at third because he's slow and his speed could have 39 might hurt you at shortstop. So I agree with that. If you're going to play him at third. But I would probably prefer Freddie Freeman at third. But let's go on to Max Muncy. 250, not good. I love his swing, but I just wasn't hitting that well with him. Let's see. Then Winker. I know he's got good attributes against righties, and he's got some quirks. Got pinch hitting quirk. And I'll go over how much the pinch hitting quirk affects his PCI in the next video, and all the other quirks, but I was only batting 300, again, not great. I don't know why. His swing seems a little bit like Griffey's. It just takes a little long to get going. Brandon Nimmo, I think he's very underrated. 350. I still wouldn't play him because there's a lot better cards, but 91 speed, I mean, that's good. Decent attributes. Does he have any quirks? He has a few quirks too, so this is definitely an underrated card. But I think there's probably just better cards. And then Babe Ruth, 615, only 13 at bats, but I mean, he just mashes. He's maxed out across the board. I gotta find a place for him in my lineup. He's probably better than Gehrig. And so I'll probably play Ruth in, what does he play? Right field. I'll probably play him in right and just deal with his 67 speed because he's just such a good hitter. And then play Gehrig at first and probably Freeman at third. That's what I've decided. I only have 5 ranked seasons games. You might have seen that on the gameplay portion. So I'm going to try to play more ranked and get to World Series before this MLB The Show 21 is over. I've never gotten to World Series because I mostly just play Battle Royale and events. I don't know, I just like those modes, but I'm going to probably try to get World Series, see if I can do it. Anyway, thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next video.